What if intuition wasn't just, gut feeling? What if it was something more, like a direct connection to a universal living library?
Mm.
Imagine if all knowledge, past, present, even future, was somehow readily accessible. It's waiting for you to tune in.
That's a powerful idea.
Hmm.
And today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that concept.
Huh.
The Akashic Records.
Right.
People often describe it as the universe's ultimate information superhighway, like a central storage for every single thought, event, potential, everything that ever was or could be.
So our mission today is, well, to unpack what these records are supposed to be. Where does this idea even come from?
Yeah, the origins.
And then maybe connect it to some, well, surprising modern scientific theories, things that might actually offer a kind of framework.
It's fascinating how those connections are emerging.
Definitely. And we'll look at how people both way back in history and, contemporary figures have claimed to access this huge reservoir of insight.
And maybe most importantly,
Yeah, what could it all mean for your own personal growth, for your understanding of things?
you could almost picture it like the universe's ultimate Wi-Fi network, maybe.
Ah, I like that.
Invisible, right.
Yeah.
But everywhere. Offering just limitless information if you know how to connect, how to tune in.
Okay, so let's explore this. I mean, lots of spiritual traditions talk about some kind of universal information field, right?
Absolutely.
But maybe one of the most well-known modern mentions comes from Edgar Cayce, the late Edgar Cayce.
The sleeping prophet.
Exactly. He described the Akashic Records as this field of energy, holding past, present, future knowledge of, well, everything, manifesting everywhere all at once.
And what's really interesting in his description is the idea that within that huge field, there are these individual energy fields too.
For each person.
For every single being. Immensely vast in their own right.
Yeah.
Like nested databases almost.
Wow. But the actual term Akashic Records, it sounds ancient, but it's more recent.
It is, relatively speaking. It was popularized back in 1883 by Alfred Percy Sinnett. He wrote a book called Esoteric Buddhism. And he explained how, according to Eastern philosophy, these universal records exist within something called the Akasha.
Akasha, that's the Sanskrit word.
That's the one. It means ether. But not just like the old scientific concept. It's both elemental and metaphysical.
So like a fundamental substance of reality.
Kind of. Pervasive, fundamental. And Sinnett said these records, held within the Akasha, could be accessed by, well, enlightened individuals.
It's pretty clear then that even though Sinnett coined the term we use now, the idea itself, that's ancient, really ancient.
Oh, absolutely. You can find references thousands of years earlier. Look at the sacred Hindu scriptures.
Like the Mahabharata.
Exactly, the Mahabharata, the Puranas. They always talk about the mystical Vedic sage Narada.
Okay.
Tradition says Narada could, transcend ordinary consciousness. He supposedly gathered all this profound knowledge by tapping into some essential wisdom woven right into the fabric of the divine cosmic order.
It's not just an Eastern thing, though, is it? I seem to recall connections to ancient Egypt, too.
You're spot on. Think about the Egyptian deity Thoth, also known as Hermes Trismegistus.
Right, the god of wisdom.
Well, before he was considered a god, legend says Thoth was the first great Egyptian philosopher, founded the ancient mystery schools.
And he accessed these records?
Supposedly, yes. He reportedly received incredible wisdom during meditative trances, and he wrote it all down over 40 books, apparently.
Like the Emerald Tablet.
The Emerald Tablet, the Book of Thoth.
Yeah.
Yeah. His knowledge was just so vast, so seemingly out there, that the Egyptians first saw him as someone communicating with the gods.
And then eventually decided he was one.
Pretty much, yeah. They inducted him into their pantheon. It keeps pointing back to this idea of accessing information beyond our normal five senses.
It really is fascinating how consistent this thread is across thousands of years, different cultures. But, okay, the big question for a lot of us listening.
Can we prove it?
Exactly. Can we prove any of this?
Yeah.
Does science offer any clues at all, or is it just purely mystical? We're kind of limited, aren't we, by what we can physically measure or see?
We are. And that's where that Nikola Tesla quote really hits home.
Which one?
The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence.
That's profound.
It is. Because while we can't, put the Akashic records in a test tube, science is starting to explore the underlying ideas, an interconnected energetic universe.
Which brings us to Dr. Irvin Laszlo. He's a futurist, Nobel Prize nominee.
A big name, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually announced he'd found evidence of what he specifically calls the Akashic field.
After years of studying electromagnetic fields, gravitational fields. So
Yeah.
what's his theory? What is this Akashic field?
Well, Laszlo built his ideas on Einstein's work, specifically the discovery of quantum zero-point energy.
Okay, zero-point energy. Remind us.
It's basically the background energy of the universe. It's
Yeah.
always there, even in what looks like empty space. Think of it as the universe's baseline hum.
An invisible energy field connecting everything.
That's the concept. Theoretical physicists describe it as this all-pervasive sea of invisible quantum energy waves.
Mm.
Throughout the universe, the idea is that the very fabric of space is made of energy and information, and it travels through these quantum waves.
Okay, so space isn't empty. It's full of energy waves carrying information.
Right. And here's Laszlo's leap.
Mm.
He proposed this field carries not just physical information, but intellectual information too.
Ah, so thoughts, ideas, knowledge.
Exactly. The Akashic field, in his view, is made of these quantum waves that are common to all intelligent life.
Meaning human brains, maybe extraterrestrial brains, others?
That's the implication.
Yeah.
All brains could potentially tap into this field. And the really key takeaway here isn't just that these theories exist.
Yeah.
It's that cutting-edge science, which people used to think was completely separate from, spiritual ideas,
Right, totally opposed.
is now finding frameworks that could, quite surprisingly, actually support the core idea of a universal information field.
That's mind-blowing. And it wasn't just Laszlo, right? You mentioned Richard Feynman, too, the Nobel-winning physicist.
Yeah, absolutely. Nearly 2 decades before Laszlo, Feynman was exploring similar territory in his book The Strange Theory of Light and Matter.
What was his angle?
Well, he delved deep into quantum mechanics. He showed how, at the subatomic level, particles can be instantly connected, regardless of distance. That's quantum entanglement.
Okay, that weird connection thing.
Exactly. And he even speculated that the electrons in our brains might be sensitive to these subtle quantum waves, that they could pick up information this way.
Affecting our thoughts, our subconscious.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Our brains are buzzing with electrical activity, right?
Constantly.
Feynman discussed how an electron in our brain creates radiation you could detect. He suggested it could receive signals from the past.
From the past? How?
Quantum weirdness. But to balance things out, mathematically, it would also have to receive waves from the future.
Okay, my head hurts a little now. But what does that imply about our brain's function?
It leads back to that Tesla idea, doesn't it? My brain is only a receiver.
In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration.
Yeah. Could this quantum connection be the mechanism, the bridge to something like the Akashic Records, allowing us to receive insights that feel like intuition, or maybe even glimpses of the future?
So, if our brains are receivers capable of tuning into this universal field,
Then what?
could, I don't know, maybe intelligent civilizations, if they exist, send information to us through these quantum waves?
It's a fascinating thought experiment. What we might perceive as sudden visions or intuitive leaps, maybe they're more like subtle broadcasts.
Or thought transference, yeah, via this Akashic record system.
It definitely makes you think.
It really does. And, when you look at some real-world examples, maybe it feels a bit less abstract. Think about Baba Vanga.
Ah, yes, the Bulgarian seer.
Right. In 1923, just a 12-year-old peasant girl, blinded in a tornado, 3 operations, no success, she stays blind. But then she develops this incredible ability to predict the future, making these startlingly accurate revelations.
By the 1980s, she was huge. Baba Vanga, Grandmother Vanga, thousands of predictions. They called her the Nostradamus of the Balkans.
And what she described, it's wild. She claimed she could just see everything in her mind's eye, a person's whole life, birth to death, like watching a movie.
And she wasn't just some fringe figure either. Scientists in Bulgaria and the Soviet Union actually studied her.
Leaders sought her out.
Prominent Eastern Bloc
Yeah.
leaders, yeah. They wanted readings from her predictions. I mean, things like Stalin's death. She even got briefly imprisoned for predicting that.
Wow.
And then later, 9/11, Chernobyl, the 2004 tsunami, the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk. Uncannily accurate.
And you think about her background, born a peasant, barely literate, no way she had access to modern intel or anything.
Exactly. Where did she get this information? It strongly suggests access beyond our standard 5 senses.
She's an incredible case, but not unique in claiming this kind of access. We mentioned Nostradamus earlier, Michel de Nostradam.
The classic example, of
He
course.
predicted so many major events, too. The Great Fire of London, the French Revolution, the rise of Hitler. He claimed his methods involved ancient Greek oracles, Christian mysticism, Kabbalah.
A real mix.
Mm.
And he described this state he entered, this sort of divine state where time wasn't linear.
Past, present, future, all merging.
Yeah, binding into one. So many prophets seem to suggest they're tapping into a different reality, a stream of knowledge. Maybe one shared by other kinds of beings too, not just humans.
It leads back to that idea. Maybe these records, this information field, is literally all around us.
And our brains just haven't fully evolved the capacity to perceive it consistently. Or maybe we just get these occasional powerful glimpses.
But it's not only these extraordinary individuals, the sort of mystical figures, is it? What about simultaneous invention?
Ah, that's another fascinating angle. Great point. Think about Tesla and Marconi, both developing radio technology pretty much at the exact same time, independently.
And Einstein's theory of relativity. Wasn't there someone else right on his heels?
Henri Poincaré, the French physicist. Yeah, almost simultaneously came up with very similar ideas.
It's not just isolated cases either, is it?
No, not at all. There was these sociologists, William Ogburn and Dorothy Thomas. They published a paper, Are Inventions Inevitable?
Okay.
They documented 148 instances of simultaneous invention or discovery. Multiple people, completely unaware of each other, different places, different backgrounds, developing the same groundbreaking idea at roughly the same time.
148 examples. Wow. So how does that happen? People on different continents, totally different cultures. How do they hit on the same complex idea almost simultaneously?
Well, one theory connects back to this idea of a collective field. Perhaps as our collective consciousness evolves, certain vital knowledge gets released somehow.
Into the field, making it accessible.
Accessible to potentially millions of minds who are receptive, yeah. Maybe those who are working on similar problems are just open.
That's an amazing concept. And you mentioned one more modern example, Suju Jin from China.
Right, this is a contemporary case.
Yeah.
Reports say this man can apparently know, discover, and describe anyone's entire life history.
Just by knowing their first name.
Just their first name, their childhood, struggles, successes, everything. It's almost unbelievable, but it again points towards some kind of interconnected information pool, far beyond normal ways of knowing someone.
Okay, so this brings us maybe to the more personal side of things. The Akashic Records, not just as a universal library, but as something relevant to us individually.
Exactly. In many spiritual traditions, your personal Akashic record is also called your Book of Life.
Your Book of Life, okay.
It's said to contain literally every thought, every word, every intention, emotion, every deed of your soul.
Right.
From its very beginning right through to the end of time.
That's everything.
Everything. It holds your soul's purpose, your callings, your talents, the lessons you're here to learn. And it's accessible through your unique energetic frequency, like a fingerprint, but cosmic, encoded into the universe.
So it's not some dusty book on a shelf somewhere. It's part of me.
It's absolutely integral. It's not separate. Your Akashic records are the energetic recordings of your soul's journey. They are everything about you, around you, within you.
Wow.
Everything you are, everything you have been, and all the potentials you were yet to become, it's a living document, constantly updating as you change, as you heal, as you grow.
And this idea of record keepers, you mentioned them earlier, specific beings.
Yes, that's part of the concept. Specific energetic beings, often described as being part of your divine spiritual family, they specialize in working with these records.
And they help you access them.
They're supposedly right there at your side, ready and eager to help. But, and this is key out of respect for your free will, they wait.
Wait for what?
For you to initiate contact, for you to ask for help, for information.
Okay, so if someone wants to access this information for themselves, for their own growth or understanding, it really comes down to asking the right question.
You've absolutely hit on a critical point there. The quality of the information you receive is often a direct result of the questions you ask.
How so?
Your questions act like coordinates.
Yeah.
They guide the record keepers to the specific energetic space where the answers you're ready for reside.
Can you give an analogy?
Imagine an infinite orchard, maybe an apple orchard. Each apple holds a key to a different soul experience, a different piece of knowledge. Each tree represents certain themes or lessons in your life.
Okay.
Your specific questions. They tell the record keepers exactly which tree to go to and which apple to pick for the insight you need right now. It's about precision.
That makes sense, like using a very specific search term in that universal database.
Exactly. It's not just browsing aimlessly. It's targeted inquiry based on what you genuinely want to understand or heal.
And what's the potential outcome? You mentioned healing, growth. How does just getting information lead to that?
Well, the profound part is that sometimes simply becoming aware of the core cause of an issue, finding that seed of knowledge and wisdom hidden within the experience is enough.
Enough to do what?
Enough to create an actual energetic shift. This awareness itself can trigger healing, whether it's spiritual, physical, mental, or emotional healing.
Really? Just knowing the root?
Often, yes.
No.
Now, the extent of that healing usually relates directly to your own commitment and your intention. How willing are you to integrate that understanding?
Right. It's not passive.
Not at all. Your divine spiritual family, the Keepers, they offer guidance, support, immense love, but they never interfere with your free will. You have to initiate it. You have to be willing to actually use the information you receive.
Put it into practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know that old saying, the definition of insanity.
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Yeah.
It applies here. You get the insight, but then you have to choose to act differently based on that new awareness.
So, working with your Akashic records, if people choose to explore that, it's not about getting orders from on high.
Absolutely not. It's not about mandates or having your life dictated. It's about gaining knowledge and wisdom, broadening your perspective,
You make better choices.
healthier choices, yeah. Choices that support your personal and spiritual growth. It's empowering.
How so?
Well, think about it. When something pushes your buttons, when you get triggered, that's often seen as spirit responding to your underlying request to heal something.
An opportunity for growth.
Exactly. Accessing the records can give you the ability to uncover the core issue behind that trigger. And then you can actually begin the healing process consciously.
So it leads to more self-awareness, self-direction.
Deeper levels of self-empowerment, absolutely. You're connecting more directly with your own divine source, your own inner wisdom. Each time you engage with this process, potentially, you heal another piece of yourself. You move towards greater completeness, greater wholeness.
And it really underscores how connected everything is, past, present, future.
Deeply connected. Accepting responsibility for your past actions, understanding their consequences, that's often crucial for being able to truly move forward and change your path. It's all interwoven.
So when we look back at everything we've discussed, from ancient sages like Narada, all the way to modern scientific explorers like Laszlo and Feynman,
Yeah, quite a span.
this persistent idea of a universal, accessible field of information, the Akashic records, it really does suggest this profound interconnectedness, stretching across time, across consciousness itself.
It really does. And if our brains are indeed receivers, even partially capable of tapping into this, well, vast ocean of knowledge, what possibilities does that really open up for our own evolution? Personally,
Collectively.
it makes you wonder, if you could access this information clearly, what burning questions would you ask? For deeper understanding, for healing, for insight into your own unique path.
What would you want to know? Yeah. And maybe just consider those moments in your own life when insights or ideas seem to just pop into your head seemingly out of nowhere. Could those moments be subtle echoes, little whispers from this grand universal library speaking directly to you?